Paul Millsap. He will be the X factor in this series. My favorite player of all time after Kobe Bryant. I love Paul Millsap, X factor.
We can introduce ourselves. I'm Jameson O'Neill, one of the assistant sports editors.
I'm Nick Rossi, sports intern.
Miles Thomas, sports editor.
Zach Johnson, sports intern.
Alex Hutton, assistant sports editor.
Warriors, Clippers. I have Warriors in 5.
I also have the Warriors. I have them in 6 games though, just to give, I think it'll take the Warriors a few games just to adjust, but I think they'll definitely be in control.
Yeah, I got the Warriors too. I think the Clippers have been a great story, one of the big surprises of the year, obviously, and I do think they'll manage to pick off a game at Staples Center, but I do have the Warriors in 5 in that one.
Yeah, Warriors all the way.
Rockets, Jazz. So I was tempted to pick the Jazz in this one. Donovan Mitchell is one of my favorite players in the league. With that being said, I have the Rockets in 6.
I have the Rockets in 5, not even 6. I want to root for the Jazz, but I think even though the Rockets' defense I think is a little bit weaker because they traded away a lot of their better defensive players, I think they're just too strong offensively.
When you've got guys like Harden, I think he's just too good, and I think the Rockets are a little better than your average 4 seed, so I think they're going to pull that one out.
I got Rockets too. You know, I got to support my boy Yao and Jeremy. I'm with you guys all the way. Keep doing what you do, make us proud.
Trailblazers versus Thunder. So I might be the only one here who has the Trailblazers.
I have the Blazers.
I have the Blazers. You already know I have the Blazers.
Alright, so I guess we all...
Blazers in 7. I would have probably said the Thunder up until 2 weeks ago, but they've been looking a little bit weaker than they have been. PG's kind of MVP campaign. PG's kind of MVP, that's Paul George for the layman. Paul George's MVP campaign has been a little bit crushed though. I still love Paul George. He hasn't been shooting as well. But both teams are very top heavy with their stars and they don't have a lot of backup bench production, so we'll see how that comes into play.
I'm also taking the Blazers. I agree with what you said about Damian Lillard. I think he is on a mission, and I don't see the sort of the issues that Westbrook has had in the playoffs in the past. I don't see him correcting those this particular playoffs. So I think that'll give the Blazers an edge, and I think they'll take the series.
Finishing out the West, we got Nuggets versus Spurs. So initially, I was like, you know what, I could see the Spurs. I think if any series is going to be a big upset, the Spurs could upset the Nuggets here, but I personally have the Nuggets in 6.
Yeah, I have the Nuggets too, just because I was tempted a little bit to, pick this to be one of the only big upset kind of my whole bracket, but I went with the Nuggets.
Bucks versus the 8-seeded Pistons. Quick congrats to the Pistons. They've had a little bit of a drought. It's kind of cool to see them back. That being said, Bucks in 4.
Bucks in 5. I love Giannis. I love Bledsoe, Brook Lopez. I just think they have such an exciting team.
I've also got the Bucks. I think between Giannis, obviously, he's had an incredible season. The depth. I mean, when you've got Brook Lopez shooting threes and making threes, that's tough to beat. So yeah, I think the Bucks win this one pretty easily.
Bucks all the way, baby.
Celtics Pacers. So the Celtics, had a lot of high expectations, didn't really meet them, but I think now that they're in the playoffs, they're really gonna lock it in. They have way too much talent to get bounced by a Pacers team that doesn't even have Victor Oladipo.
I do think the Celtics have some chemistry issues that could plague them later on, and that sort of thing, and the concerns about underachievement and all that kind of stuff. But I do think narrowly they're going to pull out this series.
Sixers Nets, Philadelphia 76ers. They have a lot of firepower, big trades. They got 2 big trades this season with Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris.
As much as I love D'Angelo Russell, I think I love the process even more. And I think the 76ers have really trusted it. They have a talented roster, and I think they'll blow by the Nets.
Philly is one of the biggest wild cards of this entire playoffs. I think they're very much boom or bust, and they've got a lot of guys whose performances are very much boom or bust. I do think that on the pure talent, they're going to be able to outplay the Nets and win the series.
Raptors Magic.
I got Raptors in 4.
I got Raptors in 4 as well.
Yeah, the Raptors are winning.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
We all got Raptors.
Warriors, Rockets, who do we have moving on?
Warriors in 6.
Yeah, I think James Harden will, do his best to push this series as far as he can. But I think the Warriors just have way too much for, just one MVP to, really beat them.
I think what I've noticed is Harden kind of shrinks in the big moments of the playoff. Like last year's series.
He's had a lot of clutch moments this season, though.
I know. But
games against
James
the
Harden
Warriors,
is
too.
my MVP this season. As much as I like Giannis, I think Harden is my MVP. But last year's series, Chris Paul was the best player in the whole series, I thought.
I will say, just to start, that if the Rockets do manage to win this series, I will not be shocked. Like, I definitely think they can win this series.
Bucks Celtics. What do you think will happen if that matchup comes to fruition?
I have the Celtics winning. I know that the Bucks are the first seed. Giannis is playing an MVP caliber season. But I think the Celtics are going to lock in the playoffs.
It's been tough to watch them during the regular season because the expectation has been so high and they've been fairly, I guess, underwhelming. Not extremely, but in the last 20 games, though, they've looked a lot stronger. Jaylen Brown and Gordon Hayward have been more consistent. Marcus Smart's out at least through the first two rounds of the playoffs. He's just an absolute grinder, so important to the Celtics.
What about Scary Terry?
Scary Terry, yes, he's gonna get more minutes because Smart will be out.
I could look really bad in a few weeks saying this, but I got the Bucks easily in 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I think.
Hot take.
I just think Giannis has obviously been so good, but just up and down the lineup, the length and the disruptiveness and just the dynamic abilities of so many different players on that team, I think will really plague the Celtics.
Warriors coming out of the West.
Yep, I think we all do, right?
We all have the
Warriors
Warriors.
around the West.
And then for me, I have the Toronto Raptors taking care of the Philadelphia 76ers in 6 games and meeting the Warriors in the finals.
Yeah, I've got Bucks Warriors. I think Giannis will do enough to get the Bucks to the finals. I think he'll really put the team on his back and make sure that happens. But I think unfortunately, whatever team comes out of the East, I mean, it is cool to make it to the finals, but whoever makes it is going to the Warriors. The Warriors are just so good.
The Bucks remind me a little bit of that OKC team in 2016 that was up 3-1 on the Warriors in the conference finals and could have very easily won that series. I think there's a lot of similarities there in terms of the length and the speed and that sort of thing. I think they can give the Warriors problems.
Rockets win the West. Do they win over the team that wins the East?
See, I think if the Rockets make it instead of the Warriors, I have the Raptors winning it all. I think the Raptors are the only team, in my mind, in the Eastern Conference that can take care of the Warriors. And I think the Raptors are better than every team in the West, other than the Warriors. The Raptors, to me, are going to really show up in the playoffs. They're like a combination of the 2004 Pistons and the 2010 Lakers. They have the star power and the gritty defense to make it work.
These are our predictions for the 2019 NBA playoffs. It's going to be an exciting playoffs, I hope. We'll see, I guess. Thanks for watching.